Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show. My guest today is Andrea Woolf, who is the founder of Women of Impact, a community of women entrepreneurs and executives who are ready to change the world and, in the process, take their business, career, and life to a whole new level. She's the author of Ignite Your Life, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, and helps women achieve amazing results and truly connect to the difference they make. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Gayle. So excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you. So let's find out, because I know you've had a varied career. How did you get into coaching?
Well, I was in the multinational corporate. I had this massive job, and while I was, being very successful at it, I was like constantly having this growing feeling of there has to be more to life than this, which really is quite funny because I had very little life. I committed to like seeing my parents and having a little bit of life, but I really used to work crazy hours. One of the my buddies in the company, in the marketing department, was suddenly going to be leaving. And so I took him for lunch on his last day. And that's where, I'm talking over 25 years ago, where no one had heard of coaching, right? So at that lunch, he told me he was going now to be building his coaching practice. I literally had a full body chill. I knew I'd met my destiny. I didn't even know what it was. And I hired him on the spot. And that was the beginning of the journey of me over time by design, leaving 18 months later to launch my own coaching practice. And then, of course, I discovered I've really been a coach my whole life. So it is really the glove that fits me. And I've never looked back.
So you've got Women of Impact, and you're trying to kind of broaden the world for women everywhere. What is your big vision? Where do you want to be in, let's say, 5 years?
Yeah. Well, my big vision, as crazy as this may sound, no matter what the world looks like right now, my big vision is world peace. And in the same breath that I'm saying those magical words, here's what I know. Here's what it's going to take to actually achieve it, is by more women finding their voice, really stepping into their power and passion, being their authentic selves, but really standing in their power. And that is how world peace will come about, because we operate very, very differently. And right now, the global conversation is extremely masculine. And to shift that, it's going to take it like balancing and becoming more on the feminine side. So, we seek to connect and collaborate. This is the foundation for me of what Women of Impact is. And that's how we'll change the world.
Well, as you know, I also have my end goal is world peace, as I guess as unrealistic as that is. But I'm going to ask you, what is your superpower? If you say we have to embrace our superpower, what is your superpower?
Yeah, I love this question. So there are many ways I describe myself, and one of them is around powerful listening. So I'm actually hard of hearing, funnily enough. But what I say about myself is that I hear what people aren't saying. I hear like the between the lines. So it's not necessarily, what we think. Sometimes there's what's underneath what we're saying. And I hear that. So I can walk into a room and I can sense what's going on. I can hear what's not being said by somebody who, is struggling in some way. And so what happens with that is that I help people get where they want to get to much quicker because I can hear what they're not saying.
That's interesting. And of course, because I know you personally, Andrea, I know that you came to a lot of decisions after much serious thought about a lot of things. So, what is the biggest struggle that you had to overcome in your life?
Oh my God. Well, I have a quick and ready answer to this. um, I am what I call a recovering perfectionist, meaning you never fully get over it. Um, I know exactly where I got it from. I got it from my wonderful mom, who is now 92. And there was only one way to ever do anything, right? Was in complete excellence. So fast forward, as an entrepreneur, that can be both a blessing and a limiter. This overthinking things and needing for it to be perfect before I'll publish it or put it out to the world and so on. So I would definitely say this has been my one of my biggest life struggles, and gaining mastery over it is really something, right? Getting out of my own way, and that's the reason I so strongly believe in what I do, because I have more than one coach. I'm in more than one program to constantly help me keep getting out of my own way.
Well, it's interesting because, you talk about wanting women to go to a whole new level in their life and their career.
Right.
And so, what is it that you do with women of impact? How do you work with women who are in touch with you?
Awesome. Okay, so to help make it easy, yes. So most of us wonderful women, we want to like rise and succeed, be successful in whether it's business, having your own business, or whether you're in a career where often women like struggle to like push through that ceiling and keep elevating inside, big corporations. So I have everything that I train in three groupings. One is business or career success. The second is personal fulfillment, everything not business, which is just as important for us wonderful women as any kind of professional success. And the third one, which is completely different and my personal favorite, and that is called Be the Ripple Now. And there I help women get, number one, get that they matter, because often we forget it and then we get into mischief because we feel resigned or unappreciated or underappreciated. And then so really, really, really embrace that they matter. And then what I call take that magnificence out into the world and make a difference. And there's a couple of different ways to make a difference. It's either by doing, and it could be on a tiny scale or a ginormous scale. It's not about the scale. It's just knowing that you're making a difference. And then the other way, of course, is by giving. So, so helping women really get that they make a difference and they matter, and then everything changes in the other two pillars of content. And so I help in all these ways. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because everything actually at the end of the day is actually connected. Everything's connected.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. Do you find that the women that you're coaching want more of one than of the other two? I mean, where is your heavy concentration of clients?
Well, it's a great question, and here's how I'll answer it. It's different at different times, but there's usually one that is the biggest attractor magnet, and that really is the business and professional success. That is typically who I attract first and foremost, because we all want more success in life, right? Through what we are doing in the world. So typically it is that one, but then they get it. Everything's connected. So, but it is typically the business and professional success, that one.
And then I would think that if they really enjoy you and enjoy what they've learned from you and they've accomplished what they set out to do, that they might very often enroll in one of the other two or eventually all three.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most people I would think would would head toward the business only because A, it puts them on the map faster, and two, it gives them more money, and three, it positions them to take the next leap that they have to take. So it's, but then again, if they don't have the other two, they're in trouble. And so
Right.
that's the problem. I mean, some
Yeah.
people do really well in business, but they don't connect personally either with their friends, their community, their
Right.
families, whatever. So,
Exactly.
I think that's a big thing. So, what is the kernel of brilliance that you would share?
Okay. So here's what I want your wonderful listeners to really get. Lean in, leaders. It's this. There's only one you. There's really only one you. I have even known completely identical twins who are actually fundamentally, they look absolutely identical, but they're nothing alike. In fact, one was a complete extrovert and one a complete introvert, and different in so many other more internal ways. So, embracing that there's only one you, you can now give yourself full permission to stop comparing yourself to anybody, because that is like an energy drainer. It will disempower you. It will have you dim your light versus shining bright in the world. In none of the ways that it impacts you will be positive. So embrace that there's only one you, the magnificent you that you're destined to be here in this moment on the planet. And then you can from that really figure out what difference you're here to make in this lifetime, and then include that in either how you're delivering what you're doing. um, all those wonderful things will flow from it when you really embrace this only one you.
Well, it's interesting. I was just listening to one of the programs that I subscribe to, and he was talking about how you have to concentrate on you as a person. And he was using the example of a mom. He says, in a company, if the president or the VP of sales or something like that goes down, the company may go down. But
Mm,
in life, if the mom goes down, because she's responsible for so many things,
yeah.
the whole family collapses. So it's very important for these women who you're dealing with to understand they're kind of multifaceted. I mean, they carry many capes on their shoulders, and the
Totally.
interesting thing is that women can do that. That's the important thing. Women can do that. And it's important that you mentioned that we are dealing in a mostly masculine world at this time, which, it hadn't been like that in the first part of the or the latter part of the 20th century. We got to a much more feminine viewpoint, but since we've started this decade, we're definitely back to the masculine trend, and I do think that feminism would help us a great deal. So,
Mm.
what would you say you're most proud of, Andrea? You've done so many things. What are you most proud of in your life?
Oh my God. Mm. This is such a moving question. I mentioned earlier, I'm really blessed to still have my mom. She's 92. Um, of the three of us, I have an older brother, younger sister. I have been always the one closest to my parents. And really, what I'm most proud of, I lost my dad a year and a half ago. And, I've really, I'm really proud of who I've been for my parents, and especially my dad, because it was really challenging as he was, declining. And I was also then taking care of, I was taking care of my mom who has dementia. She's functioning, but she has no short-term memory. So it was a complicated time, and I was still able somehow to do everything that was needed to take care of my dad and keep my mom stable at the same time. It was really a complicated time. And
Let's talk about that a little bit because,
yeah,
first of all, it's never easy to lose a loved one. I mean, my mom lived to 99 and a half and had her
uh,
faculties. And we were very fortunate about that.
Mm.
Unfortunately, she was great at shouting out orders, though. Even in the hospital, at the very end, she was still shouting out orders. But we were kind of used to that, you know. But then to deal with that, and then to deal with your dad's death, and I don't know if it was an illness or it was sudden, but
Mm.
dealing with that, and then having a mom who has dementia, which probably will turn into Alzheimer's. I mean, it's kind of the way it goes, and she has no short-term memory now.
Right.
So, I mean, what would your suggestion be to the women you work with, who are probably, not all of them, of course, but many of them are probably going through the same thing. And in
Yeah.
addition to that, they also have kids that they're worried about because, even if a kid is in their 20s or 30s, or 40s, I mean, you worry about them and they still get into trouble. So,
Right.
so how do you balance all of that?
Oh my God. Well, I'm not sure the word balance actually is what to strive for in a crazy moment like that. I have two suggestions. One is make sure as a priority that you're also taking care of yourself. It's absolutely essential that somehow, whatever that is for you, and it could be you say, well, there's no time for me. I have zero time for me. Make 5 minutes and make it count. Treat yourself to a foot massage, like whatever it is that special thing. If you love to read, take a moment in a quiet moment and read a few pages. Just whatever it is, make sure you are taking care of yourself while you're taking care of your parent or parents. It's absolutely essential to stay sane, number one, but also so you don't get completely lost in all of it and then, get so exhausted. So, make sure that you take care of yourself. And the second suggestion I have is, and this sounds simple, and it may be simple, it may not be as complicated as you think, is to either get help or ask for help. Often as women, we are so valiant, we are so strong, we are so everything that we forget to just ask for help. Um, and if you don't ask, my mother was always said to me, you don't get. So look around either with your siblings. Often women won't ask their siblings to participate and help. I can't tell you how often I come across that. And, maybe in the community or your friends who love your parents like you do, right? They can help too. There's help if you are open to finding it and then asking for it and then getting it.
Yeah, I was really fortunate. My sister and I did a really, it's interesting because I always thought I was the one that took care of my mom because she spent 35 winters with me in Florida.
Mm.
And because my dad passed away when he was 65. And my sister was the one that kind of ran the bills and took care of all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
we divided everything. I contributed, but she handled everything.
Mm.
And yet my mom told my sister that I was her soulmate, and my sister was the one who took care of her. It was just vice versa. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? I had not a clue. So yeah. I mean, you just don't know how it's all going to play out.
Right.
So how can people? First of all, let's find out because I want everybody to make sure they know how to get in touch with you. Um, you have a gift for our listeners, I think. Is that right?
I do. I do.
And
Um,
what's that, and how do they find you?
yeah. So here's what it is. It's my Ignite Your Life blueprint. This is the first section of my book, and it's really important because so often we don't realize, especially us again, powerful women, we don't realize what's actually holding us back. And I would suggest that every single one of us, no matter how evolved we think we are, right, there's little residual somethings where we could be freed up, which we could be freed up from. So what this does, it takes you by the hand. It's a 4-week program, and it takes you through different modules. Excuse me, it's not. It has different modules where we take you by the hand and help you identify what's actually holding you back. Then you'll know like where to focus to actually like shed that snakeskin. That
Oh,
thing
that's
holding you back.
very generous,
Yeah.
Andrea.
And so
Yeah, I mean, that's a fabulous thing for our listeners. Ladies, if you are listening to this and this sounds like something you're interested in, take advantage of it, because this is going to open you up to a whole new you, and you're going to discover things about yourself that you never even thought about or, imagined. So that's fantastic, Andrea.
great.
What
So may I share the link?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yes. So it's www.andrea, Andrea, Wolf, WOO, L for love, F for Frank.com /gift. So it's www.andreawolf with two O's.com /gift.
Yeah, and that is her website, andreawolf.com. So if you want to know more about Andrea and any of the programs that she has, that's where you go to find out. And I know Andrea, and I know what a fantastic woman she is. So you are going to really enjoy anything you do with her. So I strongly recommend that you be in touch with her and find out more about it. I guess I would also like to ask you, how long have you been doing this particular career? And how do you feel about it at this point?
Well, I've been a coach for over 25 years. I've been working with men and women. I've also been going into companies and helping them transform really fast. Whatever's going on there usually starts at the top and so on. So there's much I could say about that. I have been loving every moment of every day that I've been doing this. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm still doing it, right? So to just help people like step into their greatness and be free and fully expressed and like loving life, you name it, like everything on the positive side of the spectrum. So I am birthing and launching Everything Women of Impact as we speak. And it's an exciting time to come join the party because this is based on all that experience. And I just am eager. I'm really so excited to be supporting fabulous women like every one of you listening in here, to like really step into your greatness and be enjoying life a whole lot more.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about enjoying life. And I do think the majority of women look at their careers not only as a, boy, I'd like to do this and I want to get to the top, but I want to have fun and enjoy it while I'm doing it. I
Yes.
think men look at it much more analytically, and women want to like where they're working, who they're working with, how they're working, all the buzz things that
Yes.
go on in a woman's mind. So I think that's all a part of it as well. Well,
Yes.
we have about 3 minutes left, Andrea. What have we not talked about that you think it's important for our listeners to know about you, about women of impact, about anything at all that you'd like to talk about?
Wow, what a wonderful opportunity. So, yeah, I'd like to just take a minute on mindset stuff.
Absolutely.
You-
I'm all for that. I'm a
Uh-huh.
big mindset proponent.
So, honestly, this is the source of our power. And again, a little quote from my book: where you choose to focus determines your experience of life. So if you're focusing on what's hard, what's difficult, if you're focusing on what's negative, the ripple effect of what's going to be showing up in your life is exactly that. So it's so simple. Like where you choose to focus determines your experience of life. An example I give of this very quickly is two people just gone through a major tornado, a major catastrophe. They've lost everything. Family's okay. One of them is bemoaning their fate at everything they lost, which is totally understandable. And yet the other one right by their side is looking around to see who they can help. Now, we get to choose how we show up, who we are in the world, every single one of us, every single moment of every day. So I love inspiring women to be very conscious about where they're choosing to focus and like expect the best and love life and come at it from that way. And it changes everything really fast.
Yeah, I guess you see that um, when you have these calamities like floods and hurricanes and fires, and
Right.
people who lose their own home but go to help everybody else, and people who leave their own family to go and rescue others because that's their first responders.
Right.
So it is amazing that people actually do these things. I question myself and I wonder, would I be that person? I don't know, but I've never been really faced with something like that. But you're right. I think it's a part of who we are and how we build our communities and our futures and our families and everything else.
Right.
So if you take advantage of Andrea's offer, her Ignite Your Life Blueprint, I think a lot of those questions will probably be answered for you. And so go to her website. I want to repeat it again. Andrea Woolf with two O's, WOOLF / gift. And, see what she's got there for you, because I think that you'll learn a lot about who she is as a person, some of what her past has been like, how she has contributed in the corporate arena. Those are all important areas. So, wow, a lot that you have to offer, Andrea. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. And I love featuring my friends. I love featuring my friends because I know them and I know all that they can do for you, and it means so much. So, Andrea, thanks for being with us today. We really enjoyed it, and hopefully a lot of people will be in touch with you because I know that you have a lot to offer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you.